Good morning. Today we are going to learn about system function or transfer function. Okay, in your syllabus it is written as system function. So it is also called by the name transfer function. Okay, so you can call system function or transfer function. Now we are going to deal with this today. Now what is a system function or transfer function? Transfer function, it explains the mathematical function of the parameters of the system performing on the applied input in order to produce the required output. So it's nothing but it is just a mathematical function, and it actually helps us to decide what all processes that we have to do in the input in order to get a particular output. Okay, so Laplace transform plays an important role in making mathematical analysis easy. It is used to characterize input-output relationship of the system. That is, in just one word, we can say that a transfer function or a system function actually characterizes the input-output relationship of the system. Now, about the concept. In any system, first the system parameters are defined and their values are selected as per the requirement. Now the input is selected. Next, to see the performance of the design system. So this is shown in this figure. So we are giving an input. Now after that, the selection of system parameters is happening, and finally we will get the desired output. So the performance of a system can be expressed in terms of its output as output is equal to effect of system parameters on the selected input, or output is equal to input into effect of system parameters. Then what will be the effect of system parameters? That will be equal to output by input. Okay, so here we are just dealing about the concept, about what it is doing, about the advantages, disadvantages, some salient features, etc. Okay, and finally some of its characteristics. Just a theory part, it's easy to study. So let us see its advantages and features. First of all, it gives a mathematical model of all systems components, and hence of the overall performance of the system. Individual analysis of the various components is also possible by the transfer function approach. Then next one, it converts time domain equations to simple algebraic equations, or calculations becomes easy. Then it also suggests some methods for that is very easy to express equations which relate output to input. And the transfer function is expressed only as a function of complex variable, say x. That is, it is not a function of real variable. Instead it is a function of complex variable or any other variable that is used as the independent variable. Then it is the property and characteristics of the system itself. Its value is dependent on the parameters of the system and independent of the values of the inputs. That is, it is purely the characteristics of the system. That is, it depends only on the system parameters, whereas it will not depend on any other values of input. So transfer function is to be obtained for a pair of input and output, and then it remains constant for any selection of input as long as the output does not change. It helps in calculating output for any type of input applied to the system. Next, once transfer function is known, output response for any type of reference input can be calculated. Then it helps in determining the some important information about the system, that is about the poles, zeros, characteristic equations, etc. It also helps in the stability analysis of the system. That is, by understanding transfer function, we can say whether the given system is stable or unstable. Then the system differential equation can be easily obtained by replacing the variable s by the differential d by dt. Then finding inverse the required variable can be easily expressed in the time domain. So this is more easy than to analyze the entire system in the time domain. Now some disadvantages: it is only applicable to linear time invariant systems, that is LTI systems. It will not give us any information regarding the physical structure of the system. From transfer function, the physical nature of the system, whether it is electrical, mechanical, thermal or hydraulic, cannot be judged. So physical structure and physical nature of the system cannot be judged from the transfer function or system function. Next, effects due to initial conditions are totally neglected. So initial conditions will not have any importance while you are analyzing the transfer function of a system. Now this is just a brief explanation of how you determine the transfer function of a system. Just study these 5 steps. First, you write the time domain equations for the system by introducing different variables in the system. Okay, then take the Laplace transform of the system equations assuming all initial conditions to be 0. Then identify system input output variables. Then eliminate introduced variables, get the resultant equation in terms of input and output variables only. Finally, take the ratio of Laplace transform of output variable to Laplace transform of input variable to get the transfer function model of the system. So, there is another definition for transfer function. In general, we said it is output by input. It is actually the Laplace transform of ratio of Laplace transform of output variable to Laplace transform of input variable. That is actually the transfer function. Now, some important terms or terminologies related to transfer function are as follows. As transfer function is a ratio of Laplace output to input. It can be expressed as a ratio of polynomial in S, thus TF is equal to PS by QS. PF is the Laplace transform of output, whereas QS is the Laplace transform of input. Now similarly we are expressing the same thing. TF actually stands for transfer function in terms of binomial equations as follows. And finally, the numerator and denominator can be factorized. To get factorized form of the transfer function, that is the factorized form. Here k is called system gain factor. Now, if in the transfer function values of s are substituted as s1, s2, s3, etc. up to sn, then what will happen to this denominator? We are substituting these values in denominator, then the value of tf will become infinity. Now these are some of the main characteristics of this transfer function. First we will learn about the poles of a transfer function. What are poles? This you might have studied in your mathematical methods in physics. Same concept comes here also. Let us see. The definition means the value of s which make the transfer function infinite when after substituting in the denominator of a transfer function are called poles of the transfer function. That is, poles are nothing but the values that you obtain when that is you are substituting in the denominator. Okay, the values of s which make the transfer function infinite after substitution in the denominator. It is after substituting in the denominator, this tf becomes infinite. Those values will be the poles of the function. So values s1 and s2, s3, etc. that we have just studied before are called poles of the transfer function. Poles are actually the roots of the equation obtained by equating denominator of transfer function to 0. So this will be clear if you go through an example. See, you are given a transfer function like this. Ts is equal to 2 within bracket s plus 2 divided by s bracket s plus 4. Now first you are putting the denominator to 0. So then what will be the value of s? It will be either 0 or minus 4. So this 0 and minus 4 when you put that value in the denominator, what will happen to denominator? It will become 0. So what will be transfer function? It will be infinity. So that particular values will be the this one, s equal to 0 and s equal to minus 4 will be the poles of the transfer function. Okay, if these values are used in the denominator, the value of transfer function becomes infinity. Hence, poles of the transfer function are s equal to 0 and s equal to minus 4. Now, suppose that if you have poles like s equal to 0, minus 4, minus 2, plus 5, that is real and without repeated values, they are called symbol poles. Now, a pole having same value twice or more, then it is called repeated pole. A pair of pole with complex conjugate are called complex conjugate poles. Now, see another example. So put this denominator equating it to 0. So you will get these values of s as follows. So here you can see that minus 1, it is repeating only once. So we can call that pole at s equal to minus 1 as a symbol pole. Whereas another two poles, that is minus 4, it is repeating twice. So minus 4 is actually a repeated pole. Then you have got a complex pole, that is only one. So that will be called as a complex conjugate pole. So you first equate the denominators to 0, and then the value of transfer function tends to infinity for a particular value of s. Then that value of s will be called as the poles of the transfer function. Next we will see the characteristic equation. It is the equation obtained by equating denominator of a transfer function to 0 whose roots are poles of the transfer function. Okay. So characteristic equation. So how will you get the characteristic equation? First you equate the denominator of the transfer function to 0, then you will get some values, and we call that they are called poles, and these poles are nothing but roots of the characteristic equation. Okay, this is an nth order characteristic equation, and here b1, b2, etc. are called constant coefficients of various powers of variable s. Next is 0 of a transfer function. What is its definition? The value of s which makes transfer function 0 after substituting in the numerator are called 0. So compare the definitions between pole and 0. In pole, what we do, we are substituting 0 in the denominator, and only those values that makes TF or transfer function infinity will be called as pole. But here you are substituting 0 in the numerator, and those values that makes transfer function 0 will be called as 0 of the transfer function. Okay, so compare and study. So so you have got understood about zeros and poles, and these zeros are actually indicated by a small circle in the s-plane, whereas poles are represented by a small cross in the s-plane. Okay, since similar to the poles, there are also symbol pole, repeated pole, and complex conjugate pole. Similarly, there are symbol zeros, repeated zeros, and complex conjugate zeros depending upon their nature. This is an example. So in order to find the 0 of the characteristic equation, you are putting the numerator equal to 0. Which is the numerator here? This one. Okay, so that is equal to 0, and you get the value of s as like this. So you are getting only minus 2, so that will be a symbol 0, and minus 1, that one is repeating twice, so that will be a repeated 0, and you are having a complex conjugate, so that will be called as a complex conjugate 0. Okay, now pole 0 plot. It is a plot obtained by locating all poles and zeros of a transfer function in the s-plane. Okay, now about pole 0 plot we will study in more detail in the next class. Okay, now order of a transfer function, that is the highest power of s present in the characteristic equation, that is in the denominator polynomial of a closed loop transfer function of a system is called order of a system. This you will be clear if you go through this example. You are considering a system with transfer function. Now so here you are putting the denominator equal to 0, that is so 1 plus src, you are putting the denominator equal to 0, and that will be the characteristic equation, and the system is of first order because this denominator is 1 plus src. Okay, 1 plus src, that is an RC circuit they are dealing about. So denominator when you put to 0, this will be the characteristic equation. There is no higher power, so it will be of first order, and when putting denominator equal to 0, you will get what? Pole. So from here you can find yes. What will be yes here? Minus 1 by RC. So it is a pole, and here there are no zeros. Okay, so that pole is represented like here. How a pole is represented in the s-plane? With a cross. It is shown here. Okay, now another we are considering an LCR circuit. Here the transfer function is given like this. Here you are dividing numerator and denominator with the LC. So you will get it like this. And now the characteristic, how will you get the characteristic equation? By putting the denominator equal to 0. Now it is of second order. Here a power of 2 comes. Okay. Now how will you find the poles? This will the pole, and it will be of this form. Here also there are no zeros. Now if values of L, R and C selected are such that both poles are real, unequal and negative, the corresponding pole 0 plot. Here you have got two poles. They are marked here, and there is no 0. So you cannot see a circle anywhere here. That means there is no 0. Now consider another system having a transfer function like this. Okay, how will you get the characteristic equation? By putting the denominator equal to 0. So this is how. Now you are splitting it. This first one, yes, as well as the second term is kept as such. This s square plus 7s plus 12, they are splitting it as s plus 3, s plus 4. Now from this, how will you get the poles? One pole will be s equal to 0. Then another one will be s equal to this one, my s equal to minus 3, s equal to minus 4. Then from here this will be minus 1 plus or minus I. So how many poles are there? 0. That is one pole. It is represented by a cross. Then that is a symbol pole, and then minus 1 plus or minus j, this, so this is represented here, minus 1 here, minus 1 plus 1, then minus 3 here, minus 4 here, and while a 0 is located at minus 2, how you get that 0? See, here the poles are actually 0, then it, see, cross, it is a pole, then minus 3, it is also a pole, minus 4, it is also a pole, and the 0, that is how you get the 0. You have to put the numerator equal to 0, then only you will be able to find the 0 of the system. It is s equal to minus 2. See, so s equal to minus 2 will be the 0, and it is represented here with a circle. In all the above examples, there was no numerator, right? Here 1 plus RC. So you cannot put this numerator equal to 0. That's why we are saying that there are no zeros. Okay, in this case, here also numerator you cannot equate it to 0. That is why we are having TF has no zeros here. Okay, like that. Here we are having a numerator. That's why we can equate it to 0, and we say that the system has a 0 at minus 2 and is represented with a circle. So you just go through this theory part, nothing difficult to understand. When you read it 1 or 2 times, you will get the concept. Okay, so that's it for now. About the transfer function and system function. About the pole 0 dot we will learn in the next class. Okay, thank you.